We're up, go.
All right, well, welcome to the City of Westminster Historic District Commission. We're having our regular monthly meeting, always on the first Wednesday. Today's November 6th at 6 o'clock. I'm going to call us to order with our statement of authority. The Westminster Historic District Commission derives its authority from Chapter 164, Article 9A of the City Code, which is authorized by the Maryland Code Annotated Land Use Article, Division 1. Oh, got a little feedback going there. This is under the Single Jurisdiction Planning and Zoning, Title 8, Historic Preservation. The qualifications of the Westminster Historic District Commission are on file at the City Administration Building at 45 West Main Street, and the file is open to the public. I want to do a quick roll call just so we all know who's here. Chris Everdore, Vice Chair, Kathy Beatty, Chris McMaster's Chair.
Ted Van Wagner, two-time member.
And Mark Tebow, the Director of Community Planning and Development.
Fantastic. All right, with our call to order and our roll call, let's look at new business. So we have a post-construction application for the historic rehab property tax credits, TC 24-1 for 12 Anchor Street. And I remember this project. Mr. Deepa, would you like to speak on behalf of the city as to what your findings are?
Thought I had a
Find your findings.
PowerPoint here, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, okay, here we go. It's not able to share. Where's the? I don't, this looks completely foreign to me.
If you go to view, try going to view, will it let you down, it will let you.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm sorry, so as you recall, on July 10th, 2024, the Historic District Commission motion to approve the rehabilitation property tax credit TC 2401 in the amount of up to $3,880.68. On September 23rd, 2024, Robert and Lori Flores, who are here tonight, sent in the post-construction application to come before the Historic District to finalize the tax credit process. So again, 12 Anchor Street location, and this is the before construction, before the work was done. And then after construction, during and after, so you see a gentleman up here on the roof. And that's essentially it. So they have completed the work. We would need clear evidence or that you pay your taxes for the year. And then we can move forward with the actual tax credit. So they're here today to get approval from the Historic Commission to demonstrate they've met the requirements necessary and to move forward with the tax credit.
I'd like to hear from the applicants. Did you have any unusual problems or old houses or mysteries?
Surprisingly, no.
Whoa!
No mystery.
At all, I just kept waiting and waiting, but
All right, well, we need you doing a little testimonial video
yes,
at
it
some
actually
point.
went, yeah.
I think, like, since we've kind of given them just free reign, like if you find rotting wood, just take care of it, that probably helped a little bit instead of us getting a call and, oh, do you want us to replace this board or that? But since we had just said, yeah, do whatever needs to be
Oh, wow,
done.
that was a mess.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, is if we had asked for an estimate without it, and then we get the calls and we get the surprises.
And we brought our decorator, she picked the color, so,
Nice.
yeah.
All right, so for the commission, we have draft motions available here. And I will call for someone to make a motion and then we can discuss the motion and move forward.
I make a motion, we accept the estimate of $3,880.68. And thank you for providing pictures of before and after.
You are welcome.
Also, I like the color green, mainly choose a darker color than after like 5 years, that is then tweaking because of the dark pigment.
Kevin, can I ask for a clarification? Are you asking for motion number 1?
Yes.
Is that what you're making a motion to? Okay, do we have a second for motion number 1? Second. Thank you, Chris. So, is there any further discussion? Kevin sort of jumped the gun with the color discussion. Is there any other discussion from our commission tonight? Oh, it sounds like you did a great job. I hope you're thinking of something else to do in the next couple of years. Oh, please vote again.
Vote on the motion?
We do. I was just about to call. Is all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? None by consensus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody.
So, you do know kind of what's next, right? How to actually apply for this.
I'm sure Melissa will be helpful, but if you wanna tell me, I will hear anything you have to
The
say.
simplest thing is that Melissa will help you. And B, you'll probably just have to prove up you paid your taxes, go in and make the request. This is the request. I'll be signing it. And then she'll tell you how to go to finance.
All right, perfect.
So, yeah, the easiest thing is Melissa will do.
She's been very, very helpful.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Say real quick with your color discussion, going for darker colors means more heat trapped in the house too, it makes it harder to cool.
True, but
Yeah.
also, for some reason, people around here, I have a standing roof. I replaced my roof 110 years old when I replaced it. I don't plan to, I will replace the second one.
That's our plan.
Yeah, us too, yeah.
But also, for your knowledge, a can of paint for the roof every 10 years is nothing. If you keep it painted,
Yes.
it will last 100 years. And you cannot get any roof cheaper than that.
Absolutely.
And then
That's
it'll be
true.
your problem to
It'll
get the next one,
It'll be
right?
her roof one day. Alright.
That's 100 years, she's gonna be really old when she's in that.
How old you gonna
Make
live
it
to be?
day.
115? Thank you all for your time.
Thanks for coming in. Go enjoy Locust Lane if you have a chance.
Bye-bye. All right, great. Well, let's move on then to item B, a letter from the Maryland Historic Trust. So, I was really glad to see this arrive. However, Mr. Depot, could you tell us as far as process goes? Is it a little too late for it to have any impact on planning and zoning?
No, it's still, so it went to public hearing, the application. They held a work session this month. They moved it for another work session next month. I think they provided the guidance to approve the overlay element of it, to allow the zoning district to be applied that allows for the residential development to happen. I think they demonstrated that. The last thing remaining is architecture. They've accepted the historic district commission's comments of pushing the building back consistent with and in line with the adjacent buildings. They are going towards the 4-story one, but right now it's the last remaining thing is architecture. There was with the pictures HDC provided, as well as others I located. We went through a group of architectural elevations, and there was one in particular they felt was reasonable and what they would like to see. Generally speaking, it did take in elements somewhat of what the HTC talked about. So that's what it is right now. So it's going back next month, the work session. So we will provide this to the planning commission for the next meeting.
So from my understanding, this letter, which is available to the public, that it basically says we won't get tossed out of this National Historic Register, but that there are things that could be very much improved on that architectural side of things. So, essentially, I consider this supportive to our position that the architecture really needs to be reconsidered as far as, you know, the exterior visual of kind of looking like a Lego building versus something more in line with the rest of the residential structures in our residential areas. Is there a role for us to go appear at another public meeting for planning and zoning?
They closed the public sessions. They're not taking, public hearings, so they're not taking any more public comment.
Are we considered public,
Yes.
this commission?
So just the simple submission of this is about as much as we can have as far as sharing our concerns.
As I believe, yes.
Can we make a request that one of us go to answer any questions or about the letter? Can we make a request that way?
You can be at the meeting. It's really up to the planning commission how if they want to open it up for public. But essentially the hearing's closed, so
Right.
so it's really up in front of them. But they can certainly ask questions if they have questions.
All right, I just want to make sure that we do our utmost to provide helpful information as this planning process goes forward. And you know, if it's a matter of our presence or our availability to answer any questions, I'm more than willing to make every effort.
Yeah.
Is it going to be again the third Thursday?
Yes.
It's a standing conflict for me.
And I was at the last one and I think you're the one that needs to really be there. I mean, maybe you could just switch one of your other activities for this. I can't answer the questions as in depth as you can.
All right, let me see what I can do. How's that? Let me see what I can do. And I look forward to talking in person with anybody who wants to talk with us.
I mentioned that you have that expertise and this is what you did.
Yeah.
So this is what you did and you had that expertise, so that's when they had questions and that I really just couldn't answer sufficiently.
I agree, this is in my wheelhouse.
Yes, it
This
is.
is something I really love doing, is helping preserve and protect our historic resources in town. It's been genuinely a pleasure and an honor. And so let me see what I can do. How's that? Is there anything else to be said about item B from our commissioners? Did you find anything is in conflict with your thoughts or advice that is contrary to how we've been proceeding?
No, they actually seem to be, or we seem to be right in line with their thoughts in terms of picking up architecture from the area. Just dropping a model structure there. So I was pleased when I read it that we were on the right track.
Yeah. Well, just as a matter of philosophy, I'll just share with you my thoughts that it's really important that we stay on page with the State Historic Preservation Office and even our national leaders in tax credits and rehab advice on a national level who provide for us these national registries. It's really important that we try and not have anything in conflict, none of our guidance or any of our activities step outside of what other agencies have, just for clarity for the public, so they hear a single voice talking about preservation. So I'm pleased to. All right. Anything else on that topic?
Krista, are they available for guidance if a developer has questions? I'm sure.
I'm pretty sure they're always available for guidance. You know, some of it just sort of basically boils down to their capacity for answering in a timely manner. And I was really pleased to see that they responded very quickly. But it's, you know, like all public agencies who are offering public assistance, sometimes the need is a little bigger than the staff. Alrighty, well then let's talk a little bit about upcoming meeting dates. So looking at the calendar, I noticed that the first Wednesday of January is January 1st. I have a funny feeling we're pretty much all gonna be having a New Year's kind of celebration. Yeah, maybe watching football or something. And I'm certain that city staff will be having some fun or something else. And I would normally recommend then we put it off till maybe the 8th, the following Wednesday. But here's my quandary, I'll be in Italy. So that leaves it to Chris to be the chair, and we could do that. Or Chris made a suggestion that might work also, and that is we normally skip December's meeting, especially if there's no business really, to give us a little December holiday break, because there's always parties and stuff to go to. But we could meet in December and give our skip day in January. And that way we won't have any, time that's really open where we are not meeting. And Mr. Depo, what would be that December date?
December the 4th.
We always say that we'll meet if there's something pressing. Like the skip date is not promised. If someone needs us to meet, we will meet. I mean, we even will, with appropriate time, meet for emergency sessions, mid-month, that's possible. But I think it's only fair to staff and the public to be really as transparent and forward-thinking as possible about our meeting dates. So what does the commission prefer? What would they like to do?
December. I think early December, at least for me, I don't really have a lot going on, so January is when, I'd rather.
Yeah, you're only a few days after Thanksgiving, so most people are taking their breath after that.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I'd rather
December 4th
take
would be fine with me.
Would that be with you? How about city staff, can you make room in your schedule for that?
Sorry, I was writing down, okay, what was that?
Would you be able to accommodate us on December 4th with a built-in possible skip date of the January month?
Absolutely.
That would be possible for you. All right, great. And again, with the caveat that if we're needed in January and a quorum can be reached, just because I'm in Italy doesn't mean you guys can't meet and handle any emergency issue.
We'll just have you on Zoom.
On Zoom. I'm at the Coliseum right now.
Doing this.
Well, truth be told, I'm going with McDaniel's Jan term. So I'm going to be learning something, slow cooking Italia. And I think that's actually makes me smile because slow cooking is a kind of new mood of cooking. And I've always slow cooked, but maybe I'll learn how to make pasta from scratch. That would be great. And I really have enjoyed my time with McDaniel's before on Jan terms. So that should be fun. I might come back a little smarter. We'll see. All right, I have no old business.
Do you want to report on the History Expo?
Oh, yeah. Yes, I would. Would you like to do the reporting? You were there with me.
Chris and I staffed the HDC booth at the History Expo on, was it October 12th or something like that?
Mhm.
And it was a fairly small attendance, but I think everybody had a good time. We had the new squeezable brick giveaways. People loved that. They thought that was so funny that they're all going around going, I can crush a brick with my bare hands, We gave away a ton of those. They really were a hit.
A ton of bricks we gave
We gave away a ton of bricks. And everybody thought, and they've got holes in the center, everybody was using them as brass knuckles, putting their hands there on them. So we gave away a ton of them. So it was a nice event. The speakers were interesting and not a huge attendance, but I don't think anybody anticipated that on a beautiful Saturday in the fall that you'd get much attendance, but it was a nice event.
Yeah, I think that it was not intuitive what we had on the site, saving every brick, Westminster, Maryland kind of thing. And I don't think people got it until you told them, but then when you did, they really got it. So, you know, actually us being face to face chit chatting with all the people we gave bricks to. Secondly, they look so lifelike people weren't touching them. We had to
Well,
sit
we
there
actually
saying,
built a little brick wall
Oh.
on the table. When people were afraid that they would knock the wall down or.
they thought they were actually little bricks. So we had to like squeeze them for them and show them, oh no, these are not real. These are. So that was funny. It was a funny reaction. I was like,
And there was somebody whose book club, I didn't catch the title of the book they're reading, but it had something to do with buildings or bricks or something, so she took a brick for everybody in her book club. And we're like, great, it's got our name on it, give them out, get them out there.
it was really well worth doing.
Yeah, it was really cool, man. It was fun, and we appreciated Melissa getting us the nice new coat that we could all things around in.
Yeah, almost everything but the big plan of the city in that little tote. So it made it a little bit easier. Yeah.
Good.
Great, this also triggers my thoughts for next month, an item of new business. There's gonna be the National History Day, expo. Again, it's gonna be at Westminster High School, and they have found a different date. They were in conflict with some sports event at the Westminster High School. So they've moved it to March. And it's the first Saturday in March. And again, it's in conflict with something else I have going, but again, it would be a requirement of a couple of us just coming and spending the morning chit chatting with people, handing out brochures, making double sure that we have plenty of walking guides, because people love those. When they realize there are 3 different walking guides, they take one of each. Sometimes they think they're just one walking guide, but we actually have 3 different ones on the historic structures in town. So I'd like to get that on our radar for next month.
Does the Historic District Commission give out an award at History Day? I know a lot of local organizations do.
We do, and we have, we made a motion whenever that we would have a $500 prize for both the senior and the junior folks.
Hefty prize.
A hefty prize. We haven't had anybody fall within the criteria of not even close to the criteria. And unfortunately, I forget this year's theme, but it doesn't seem to mesh much with, you know, something Westminster oriented. So they have a local, regional, and federal focus they're allowed to have. And we just haven't had applicants. Not quite sure why. We may have to do more work with the actual school systems to give them more hints as to what could work, because we have lots of things that could work in town. So, yeah, we really increased, it was something like $100, and we increased it to 500, hoping to get some attention.
If anybody else gives one that big,
Yeah, there is one other one.
is there?
That's that big, yeah.
That's a generous one.
Hopefully, maybe this year we'll turn that around. Okay, the Historic District Commission Implementation Plan. Any idea, Mark, how we're doing on the RFP process?
I do not,
Okay. I know that's in Melissa's wheelhouse.
yes.
That progress is going on. I did look over their so this is through the Maryland Historic Trust. They had to be part of the RFP process. They provided a response to our RFP that Melissa and I wrote, mostly Melissa, I will say. And she got the comments back from the trust. I read them over and told her they seemed strictly normal, that we could comfortably accept all of their recommendations. So as far as I know, we're back to the trust having an agreement we agreed to, and it's just a matter of getting it executed. But it is on their time frame. So, I explained to Melissa, I'm a little worried because this has been almost a year now and we're still at a point where the trust is at an agreement for agreeing. But it is a 2-year grant, so she assured me that we can use their delay to delay our progress and still be within the terms and agreement.
Do you wanna send her an email from the commission and CC all of us and just ask her for an update since we haven't had one?
I'll ask, I already wrote down, I'm gonna have her email the HTC with an update of the RFP, yeah. Saw that Jessica French emailed her today,
Oh, wow,
so.
she's our grant manager. All right, moving on into the 250th. I'm so grateful for this little litany of topics that we've got written down here because it's seems every month I can't remember absolutely everything. How are we doing with the road signs, Mark?
Waiting for quotes.
Pardon me?
So I brought it before so I think it's acceptable. It's just us providing them with and I'm not sure where this is, with the sign that we want to be placed. I know Melissa went through the book and trying to get like a nice, it was brown.
Mhm.
I'm just not sure what that is. I'll have her add that to the email of updates. I apologize.
Okay.
But we brought it up again with Public Works. They're basically, when we're ready,
They're
they're
ready.
ready, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, there was no issue, and the city administration as well, so there's no concern of doing it, it's just finalizing the sign that we want.
Right. And that's essentially the same thing as the historic district entrance signs, right?
That's different, there's two signs, it's the road signs that we're working with Public Works, well, both of them, obviously. But right now, we're trying to get the road signs, the road name signs, finalized, and what we want for them for that one. And then we still have to come up with a design for the entrance
Okay.
feature. I don't know if I know Melissa provided some examples, I'm not sure if we landed on one, I just don't recall.
I think we pretty much came up with a stylized version, but we haven't seen the actual words. You know, stylized on it.
Yeah, I think Grace was
Grace,
working on
you know, one of these
getting
songs.
some
Yeah,
Some
it's
sources
that,
for-
it's that one, so yeah, I just don't have a design yet.
I think that's what Grace was working.
So we'll reach out to Grace and
See how we're doing.
where we are with that.
Commemorative plaques for the Revolutionary era homes. I think that was something Grace was working on as well. We have our list of the homes that we're gonna target. I'm ready to start knocking on doors because they're all in my neighborhood practically, except for a couple of them. The William Winchester home, which is outside the historic district, but we all agree that would be great to mark. Even though it's not in the district, it has history. Okay, and we already decided on the Westminster logo, we have that. The 250th commemorative sign in Belgrove Square. There's been some late breaking activity on that. Grant deadlines will make that happen, and me and his Daughters of the American Revolution, William Winchester chapter have applied for a mini grant to the Heart of the Civil War Heritage area. I got a letter from Mr. Depot saying it's okay to put it at Belgrove Square and that the city was contributing the installation. And to me, that's a great in-kind match, and that that one letter actually helps me with another grant I'm asking for $500 towards that project from another part of the Daughters of the American Revolution. So I'm gonna use that letter as part of my ask for some more matching cash. Also, just so you know, at Saturday's meeting of the William Winchester chapter, they had some accounting to do to become more in line with the national standards and found themselves in possession of a little bit over $1,000 extra. And at that meeting, they committed $500 worth to this project as part of their cash matching efforts. So again, we have a chunk of change falling into line to match the grant we've asked for.
Right.
So we're down to a simple maybe $800 worth of, I don't know, big cake baking things to do, you know, bake tables or something. We'll figure out that last $800, but I was really pleased to see them immediately establish this as one
Anybody
of the
talk to the garden
priorities.
club that maintains the gardens at Belrose Square? They,
No, I'm actually in that garden club.
I don't know if they do anything to support projects like that or not.
Not usually, but you know what? There's no reason why they can't. There's a lot of things they're doing now they haven't done in a long time. They're planning in May 16th, I'll do a little plug for the Carroll Garden Club. They're planning their first garden flower show in 20 years at the Finksburg Library. And they haven't done this before in a long time, so they're beginning to do things they haven't done in a while.
So at least they should be aware that this is happening, maybe they find a way to contribute something.
Yeah.
Do they maintain that garden there?
Well, there's a number of public spaces that they maintain, and I'm not sure about, I think maybe they used
They
to.
used to, I don't know if they still do, but for years they were.
Wonder if they, well, I mean, it's a nice centrally located park. It would be nice, especially if you're gonna do all these plaques, it'd be nice to actually have that cleaned up a bit, like for people who know what they're doing with those plants.
I know they still manage at the Historical Society, and there's a couple other places that they manage the outdoor landscaping. And then some women who belong to that group are key in other groups, like run community gardens and things like that, but it's not actually a club activity. There's a lot of blending of workforce.
If they're at least aware that this is happening, maybe they find a way to be part of it.
Good idea, another partnership.
Yeah.
All right, downtown preparations for the 250th. Do you have anything to report, Chris?
I don't have anything to report, so this, I'm gonna ask for an update from Mr. Depot about the signs downtown, so like on the committee sent you photographs so of downtown businesses that had lights in their windows, and just wondering if you were able to follow up on any of those businesses.
So I haven't been able to follow up on the Penny Mart sign. They had a notice violation, so the next step, because they are not proceeding with removing signage. So we're looking at the next step of how we process that. The other properties we've talked to and kind of guided and explained to them what they need to do. So we give them a few weeks, and then if they don't, then I give the official notice of violation.
So
That too, but nothing official has been done for anybody other than the one.
so that one was 2 months ago. And they usually get a 2-week, they have 2 weeks to comply, and then after that, then there's action taken. So has there been action taken, because it's 2 months now?
I have not had a chance to take any further action.
Okay, so is that gonna be done, because they put more things in their
Yeah,
windows? Okay.
I noticed that yesterday at the DBA Monday that they did that, so it kind of pushes it up higher on the list of things to get done.
All right, well, we look forward to hearing more about how that proceeds. I actually think I found someone else who's in violation of the sign guidance, but I'll have to go back and make sure that my eyes aren't deceiving. Maybe get some pictures. I don't drive much at night anymore, so now that dark is falling so much sooner, there's things I'm beginning to notice that I hadn't noticed before. So maybe we should all keep our eyes open and see what might be out there.
And the definition of business sign is very broad, so it's really anything that is drawing attention to the property falls under the definition of a business sign. So that gives a lot of area for me to,
All right. So we're keeping the proclamation for May's Preservation Month on the calendar, but we really won't need to take action really until maybe February. Get that going. The Liberty Tree plant, I know the Liberty Tree tree is planted. But I think Melissa was looking into plaques.
I think she was waiting for the little 250th logo.
Yeah, we got that now.
Before she could complete the plaque.
Design. But I'm wondering, could we leverage something like a little plaque unveiling or something in May as part of Preservation Month? And sort of as a little kickoff activity?
Isn't it National Art?
I was gonna say, when's Arbor Day?
Yeah,
When is Arbor Day? Good question. But this is really more a historic event than a tree event. I don't know. I think it's just worth thinking about this winter, whether we can somehow leverage this to a little photograph. It doesn't have to be a big deal. Something to kind of kick off the discussion.
Well, in May, maybe you could get the, schedule it with one of the city council meetings. Get the councilors out there for some pictures or something.
Yeah, or frankly, I'd rather do it in advance of May so that May 1, we're celebrating. Unfortunately, this year we sort of slipped into June, so if we could sort of do it proactively and say, we're looking forward to May, then it might have a better impact of some sort. All right, well, that's the end of our official agenda. We're gonna go through the commissioners and have them talk publicly about what they're interested in. Chris, would you?
no, I was working with Melissa on the downtown, so the signs are paramount for me. As far as interest, good areas.
Anything new with you, Miss Kathy?
No, I think we've covered all the updates.
Kevin? Well, I do have one thing I wanna throw in. It is a 250th activity. But did I mention to you, I'm working with the Sons of the American Revolution for the sign in the Westminster Cemetery.
Yes, how's that going?
So what's really cool about the whole thing is we got in our application, we await whether or not the William G. Pomeroy Foundation will give us this sign, put us on this national trail. We're the first in the state of Maryland to apply. They didn't even have a form. They made a form up for us. But what I love most about the whole thing is it'll be a gift. The whole thing will be covered. And in the exercise of asking to recognize William Winchester, we re-recognized Henry Neff and re-recognized Caleb Stansbury. And Kathy did do some research for these two gentlemen who were also patriots. And we didn't even have them down as veterans in our list. So this may be the first time they get a flag on their grave. Since we've been putting flags on graves because they weren't on our list as being veterans. And so to me, that's super fun. It's that little nugget of history that there's always something new to learn. And there's two new patriots to honor. And I think that it doesn't cost any time, it doesn't take any effort, but it is a wonderful thing for our community, have some new treasures, kind of dusted off. So I want to thank the Sons of the American Revolution. They have been wonderful partners to work with on the 250th. They're just as interested as we are. So it's gonna be fun.
Hopefully they will contact whoever owns the Gist family cemetery to get Mordecai and Joshua, get a plaque out there.
Yeah, and I understand there's some out at St. Benjamin's Crider's Lutheran Cemetery. And I'm involved with that, and I think I can make that happen pretty quickly, but I'll have to sit down and make the application. I just wanted to see how it worked with the Westminster Cemetery and get that done first, and then work on other ones. In fact, when I mentioned this to the Daughters of the American Revolution, they get a little hyped about the Gist family cemetery and also the St. Ben's, and they may be more of a driving force than just me personally.
Yeah.
So it might be fun, but we'll get put on a paper strip. Yes, well, they like their partnership with the SAR, which has been a little thin lately, but historically they've had great partnerships. And I think they look at this as sort of a restorative activity to kind of renew ties. So this is all good stuff for our community. All right, is there anything from our director
I think I covered it in tonight's meeting. The
Okay.
signs I generally covered, maybe not to the satisfaction, but the process of 222 East Green Street. And the Pennsylvania Sullivan Avenue project, the 42/2 apartments, it's outside the historic district, but it's still, close, potentially closer downtown. That went through its public hearing and will be going through its work session as well.
Well, if there's anything we can do to be helpful, I'm more than willing to try and do what we can do.
And we appreciate everything you did too. Thank you. All right, well, if that's it for the evening, I'll call for adjournment.